All right, welcome to another episode of Around the County with Supervisor Jim Desmond. I'm Miles Himmel, Communications Director for District 5, and we've got a special guest with us here today. We've got Shari Finney, and Shari works with the Veterans Village of San Diego. She's a clinic director. Now, I say that, Shari, I don't quite know what that means. So first, what's a clinic director? And if you don't mind, talk about a little bit about the Veterans Village, because I'm sure people have heard it, but they maybe go, well, I don't quite know what does that mean?
Okay, great. So Veterans Village is a nonprofit that started in the early 80s in San Diego, and it has a wide variety of programs for veterans, from residential treatment to transitional housing. It also operates the Cohen Veterans Clinic, the Stephen A. Cohen Military Family Clinic at VVSD, as its full name is. And we're an outpatient mental health program for veterans and their families and active duty families. So as a program director, I have the privilege of running that whole program.
Seems like a large undertaking. You make it sound so simple. So your aspect, it seems like mental health, behavioral health, which is a huge issue. The supervisor will attest to this. Pre-COVID was a huge issue. During COVID, post-COVID, what are you seeing right now?
So right now, it's sort of the strangest times I've ever seen in my 25-year career. Um, It's a lot of family conflict, a lot of couple conflict, a lot of people just anxiety about their health, about even people who have survived COVID. It's a lot of anxiety about the long-term health problems from having had COVID. We're also seeing a lot of people with grief issues because everybody knows someone who's lost someone due to COVID. So we went from pre-COVID, we were mostly seeing a lot of depression and anxiety and PTSD, as you would expect with a veteran population. And now we're seeing more parental conflict with their kids. The kids are in the house all the time. If you guys have kids, you know the story. Lots of like I said, grief, bereavement time, lots of uncertainty about finances. The anxiety has just spiked throughout the county and the state.
What if I could kind of get in here? I appreciate you being here, Shari, and telling us about and educating people on what the Veterans Village actually does. Is it primarily? I know you mentioned that it's a behavioral health for veterans. Like a homeless veteran? If somebody, unfortunately in Oceanside, maybe there's a homeless veteran up there that the police have to get involved with, or things like that. Do they refer people to the Veterans Village for veterans? I guess, do they refer veterans there, or how does a veteran get to Veterans Village?
So for Veterans Village, the main campus, they do take referrals from the entire county. And I think it would be great to have Andre Simpson, the COO, on to talk in depth about Veterans Village. And we do have housing up in Escondido too. For the Cohen Clinic, the mental health outpatient clinic, we can see anybody through telehealth. You would just call our phone number. So with the addition of the Cohen Clinic, Veterans Village can now serve everyone from homeless to housed with mental health issues. And we do service all the way up the state of California. One of the things I'm most proud of about the Cohen Veterans Network, which is that it's a nationwide nonprofit, is that we opened in 2019 with telehealth. All the staff were trained and we had all the equipment. So when the pandemic hit, we didn't lose a day. We just pivoted and everybody had their equipment and worked from home. So we do see a ton of people in Oceanside, and we're actually looking to open a bricks and mortar clinic in Oceanside sometime in the near future.
That'd be nice. So how does a family, or if they have someone or a veteran that's experience anxiety and mental health and issues, or behavioral health issues, what how are they referred or find out about the service that you offer?
So they can just call the phone number at 619-345-4611, and or they can go to our website, and I can give you that later, or even email. But any entry, there's no wrong entry, and they just call and we will get the referral process started. The other wonderful thing about the Cohen Clinic is that the family is defined by the veteran. So if it's your brother, if it's your mother, if it's your stepbrother, if it's your roommate, we can work with it. So, and we also accept people regardless of discharge status. So that's not a barrier to care.
Oh, wow, that's great. So you can help children of veterans and
Yes.
siblings. Wow, that's quite a reach.
And
Very nice. So when you talk, okay, kind of straighten me out here, the Cohen Clinic versus the Veterans Village, what's the link?
so the Cohen Veterans Network was founded by Stephen A. Cohen about almost 5 years ago. It'll be 5 years ago in April. And it when it's fully developed, it'll be 25 networks across the nation. And we have the privilege of being the 19th one in San Diego. So they're our partner and our funder, but they also set the model and help us develop our practices. We only do evidence-based targeted treatment models. So if you come for PTSD, you know you're going to get the top quality treatment for PTSD. And so it's within VVSD, like VVSD hires the staff. It's a partnership between the Veterans Network and VVSD.
Okay. How many patients, I know it probably ebbs and flows and maybe you're peaked out now, but how many patients do you have that you're helping to treat at any one time? I know that probably some of them, take months or years sometimes. What's kind of your capacity? I'm curious.
So the capacity grows as we grow. So so right now we have about 200, maybe 160 to 200 individual clients, like active clients. We've served over 550 in the last year and a half. But again, another great thing about working with the network, with the Cohen Veterans Network, is that as we grow, in order to not stop access to care, because one of our top priorities is access to care. It's like timely access, not like 3 months, but hopefully within 2 weeks, we can add in and grow clinicians and capacity.
Well, I know at the county we've got veterans services and veterans officers that resource officers that reach out to veterans for a multitude of things, as far as getting benefits or claiming disabilities or things like that. Are they tied in? I guess, do you work with the county veterans department or staff closely or not? I'm curious.
Actually, yes, we have an outreach worker, and her job is to outreach from everything from the county to active military bases, to military housing, to the Veterans Coalition. So her job is to get the word out about us, and also to get us referral sources, because sometimes we also offer case management. So if there's someone that we can't serve, that like they need something the county offices will help with, then we refer to them, so that there's no wrong door for us. If we can't help you, we want to find someone who can.
Wow, that's great.
Sorry, you go.
Oh, real quick, I'll let you get in there. I just, all these questions are popping in my head. So one of the issues that we have with behavioral health is in San Diego County, I mean, we have a multitude of issues, but unfortunately our ERs and our jails have kind of turned into the, first treatment for some of these people. And the ER, they're there if you're bleeding, you need stitches, or you got some sort of physical ailment, but not necessarily mental issues. And so, and then unfortunately, if somebody's homeless out on the street and they, commit a crime, they end up in our jails, and then our jails become kind of the provider of behavioral health services, and which is not their expertise, but that's kind of what the default has kind of come to. Hopefully I guess your person that's reaching out is making them, ERs and other places like that aware that, hey, we're here to help. And if you get somebody that's, a veteran you can't handle it, it sounds like you're already doing this, but would be a great service, at least for our veterans to know that that's available.
Definitely. And we also at the main campus of VVSD, we have an outreach worker that works directly with the homeless and the ERs. But additionally, we also participate in vet court so that we can do some drug diversion as well.
Nice. Wow.
Yeah. VVSD is like a
You go. No. Sorry, you can keep going.
VVSD is kind of like a hidden jewel. I don't think the breadth of its services, including CVN, is as widely known as it should be to get the resources to the people that need it. So I really appreciate you having us on.
Good.
Sherry, you're kind of the boots on the ground. You're there. You're one of the people really seeing it. Without obviously divulging names and things like that, do you have some success stories? Some people have come in and really turned their life around?
We do. And, we're so individualized that if I gave details, it would, violate confidentiality.
Sure,
But
sure, sure.
one of my favorite parts of my job is we send out client experience surveys to everyone because we're data driven and we want to get better all the time. And I get to read the comments about my staff, and they are life changers. I couldn't be more proud of the people I work with. They are either military vets themselves or mil spouses, or they've had their parents or children are. So they really know what they're doing. We are who we serve. And I get comments through those surveys like, CVN changed my life. I was going to commit suicide. This turned it around. You saved my marriage. You helped me parent better. My kid is no longer hitting my other kids. I mean, it's amazing.
Wow.
What
Yeah.
kind of, when someone comes in, I get it's probably different from each, but as much as you can share, what kind of treatment, what are you doing? What's kind of the process you go through?
So those are both great questions. The process is they call and we do a referral screener to make sure, one, that they're not in a state of crisis, and two, that they're eligible for our care, and that we have the right type of clinician and treatment to help them. Then we'll do a biopsychosocial, and then we'll prescribe a course of treatment, and we'll triage them. We'll put them with a clinician that knows what they need. So we at the San Diego Clinic, we offer cognitive processing therapy, which is very effective for PTSD. We also offer prolonged exposure therapy for PTSD. Then we do cognitive behavioral therapy, which most people know about, and we do that for depression, anxiety. We also have clinicians trained in couples work and families work. So you're pretty much going to get a clinician tailored to your needs and preferences.
Wow. It's amazing that for all the services you offer. But you're right. This is my first experience, to hear about VVSD and the CVN. That's the Cohen Veterans Network. Tied together. It's amazing. You're out there doing that. And one of the problems we have with homelessness that I've seen at the county is sort of the transitional housing.
Mhm.
It's if somebody's homeless and we can get them into a shelter, well, what's the next step? Okay, if for them to get into some type of housing, they probably can't afford even affordable housing yet, but they're kind of that transitional. Do you have housing services that you offer, or places like, I think you mentioned you have housing in Escondido, but do you have enough, or are you trying to branch out or get more of it throughout the county? That's kind of the missing link that I see in our homelessness, chain, for lack of another term, to
Right.
get people back and healthy again.
So I totally agree. And I'm not super well versed on all the programs VVSD offers, although I know that they have transitional housing on the main campus as well, at Pacific Highway
Okay.
down in like San Diego kind of proper. And again, I would say it would be great to have either Andre or the new CEO, Akila Templeton, on to talk more about that, because I'd hate to give misinformation. But I can tell you that working 17 years at the San Diego Rescue Mission, that I totally understand what you're talking about. And I know in North County, there's less resources, but a lot of homelessness it's still an issue for you guys.
Yeah, well, and we do have interfaith services up here,
Hmm.
particularly, and they're based in Escondido. Does a great job accommodating some of that transitional housing and shelters and treatment and things like that. Primarily for homeless, not. And so but that's just a chink in the armor. We still need more of that. And I was just kind of curious if that was still an issue also for you, especially for the homeless veterans. But it sounds like you almost do, which is nice, family therapy as well, because one of the issues we have here is, families don't really have a place to take someone who's having a behavioral health issue or an episode or something, something like that. And an ER is not the place to go. We've been kind of standing up these crisis stabilization units, but it almost sounds like, you're a crisis unit for for veterans and their families, which is fantastic. It's always good to hear that the veterans are kind of the first ones to get the wraparound services and have programs and monies available. And then what we'd like to do is model your type of service for the other folks as well who didn't serve but are also in need of those kind of services. More of a statement than a question, but it's something we have to deal with at the county.
Right. Well, we like to say when one person serves, the whole family serves, because it really does affect the whole family, from deployment to mental health issues to schooling. The whole family is affected. A lot of our kiddos have gone to like 6 or 7 different school districts by the time they're 14 or 15. So we'd like to, come along and help with the transitions.
Yeah, you're right.
Well, Shari, I appreciate you coming on. And so one more time, if you don't mind, if someone knows someone wants to get some help, someone, like I said, knows someone, how can they help, or how can they get help? Where can they go?
The best thing to get to the Cohen Veterans Network Clinic, the Cohen Clinic at BVSD, is to call the phone number. It's 619-345-4611. And as far as looking at the VVSD programs, it's just literally just Google VVSD and it'll pop up.
Well, this is great information. I really appreciate, Shari, your sharing, and we'll hopefully put this podcast out, and then we will put it out, and get some more people involved and know and understand. I mean, it's very helpful to know VVSD is there, and you're helping veterans. So if we get somebody that's a veteran or a veteran family member or something like that, it's another option and a great tool in the toolbox for battling behavioral health.
Thank you. And we also do active duty families. So if someone's serving, we can meet the needs of their, Pope's coming back on. We meet the needs of their family as well.
Well, do you have any kind of a last message or something you want people to know that we haven't done?
I do. I think that as we hopefully come to an end towards COVID, I think the mental health effects are still going to be there. And I would really encourage people, if they're feeling the anxiety, to reach out for help to our clinic if they're eligible, and if not, get help somewhere. I think that no one should probably suffer through this alone, and the Cohen Clinic will be there for them.
Another thing, Shari, is when people go to the clinic or see you, who are they going to be with? Who works there at the Veterans Village and at your place as well?
So thanks for asking that. That's actually one of my favorite parts about this. The Cohen Clinic is that we are who we serve. Every one of my clinicians, from the clinicians to the staff, they all have a military connection. They're either a military spouse, they are veteran themselves, or in some cases they're both. And I actually have several people who are active duty spouses. Their spouses are active duty, and so that they know the culture. They know what people are going through. It's not foreign to them, and I think it just builds a level of trust with our clients.
As a Navy veteran myself, I appreciate all the services that you're putting out there and helping those that served, and it's it's gratifying when we help someone, and we're just glad to hear there's people like yourselves and the Cohen Network that are helping to serve those who have served. And thank you.